Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour.
Right. We are back. Giving you a little countdown there because I know y'all were as anxious as I am to get started back with all this. And I am joined by Shelly Burk Robertson here on Paranormal Experience Radio. You know, when we do jail shows, things happen. There have been a few little glitches, but they're getting fixed, fairly soon after we go off the air. But those people in the jail, they reach out all the time. It is so funny. And Shelly, you don't allow them to come home with you, and yet sometimes, like in the instance of the disc being whacked on your head and winding up in the floor, they still do things, right?
They do. Yeah, I don't want them coming home with me. If they do come home with me, definitely don't talk to me here at my house.
So you have rules too. It's not just the mayor.
That's right. That's right. And they are so respectful, but I think it's because I give them a level of respect too,
Absolutely. And they care about you. I mean, there's an actual relationship that you have with them.
I know, and a lot of people, I know when they hear this, how do you make friends with a ghost? Well, when you're around them so much and they start conversating with you and offering you helpful pieces of advice on things you're working on, it's a lot of times it's hard for people to fathom that. It's like a friendship. I know it sounds so crazy.
Well, it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. To me, when I was up there for Gary's birthday investigation, and we can talk about that too, Vincent and I were in the kitchen slicing tomatoes and onions and, tearing lettuce for sandwiches and things like that. And as he and I were conversing, the spirits would throw, a little guidance in through the portal, because the portal was always running while we were in the kitchen. And it was so wild. And I didn't know that bothered Vincent when they did that.
It freaked him out.
So whenever I would hear somebody say something, I would respond, but keep on working, or keep on, with my conversation with Vincent.
Yeah.
Never realizing that Vincent was getting freaked out.
It does freak him out, and they'll call him out too. They'll holler for him, and I'll be talking with them, and all of a sudden they'll say, "Hi, Vincent," or something, and Vincent will be like, "I'm out of here."
Well, I wouldn't have thought that I would be comfortable with that, but it didn't bother me. And
no. Well, and because the intent of them, they're just like we are, with no bodies.
Well, I'm glad that they didn't have bodies that day. But, but then again, once it was over, it was over. So they don't carry grudges either, as long as they understand that you don't have ill intent.
Yeah. And I'm pretty and dead set on, if somebody comes to an event and they start to provoke, I will put them out,
I do know. They know that too.
Yeah, we do not go for that.
So, I just think that people that do deserve what they get, maybe, is the way to put that.
Yeah,
because
I just don't let it happen, because we're all up there together, friends, family, that's what it's like, pretty much.
Well, it is, and if you were to break that trust with them, then you wouldn't have the cooperation. They wouldn't be probably as easy for people there to get along with. They would be I think it could cause malicious behavior, actually. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, it can really turn an environment.
And it really could, because I will tell you, people have been touched, not in a harmful manner, but they've got energy up there that moves items. So if they wanted to, I'm sure they could hurt somebody, you know?
Well, they didn't smack me, so I'll take that for what it's worth and go on down the road. But but also I took the time to explain things once I calmed down too. It's weird when you're having a temper tantrum with a ghost who's having a temper tantrum.
Well, and the backstory on that for everybody who's listening, what was it, a couple summers back? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Kat was going to come to the jail. She did come to the jail to do a live broadcast from the jail, and she was going to do it in the cell block, and the ghosts were not having it.
But they let me do it from the 3rd floor. They didn't have any problem with the 3rd floor.
That's where they told you could do it.
But we had already done a test up there, remember?
Yeah.
The test went great on the 3rd floor, and then we went to the cell block, where all you know what started up.
Yeah. And she had her internet hardwired, and as soon as she would take her computer in there, they shut everything down. So they were not having it.
Everything. But they didn't really, they just made it appear so.
Yeah, and the block became so noisy, like everything was slamming. They did not want that happening in there.
At all. And I included a picture, if I'm not mistaken, I tried to include a picture of the back of the jail so that people could see how it's still fenced in, and the fire stairs are still fenced in.
Yeah.
And yet there was banging on those fire stairs.
Yeah.
On both floors, not just the one floor. So they were really peeved, and then everybody got mad, which was a little freaky.
But they calmed down. They let the broadcast happen on the 3rd floor, and ever since, Kat's been friends with them ever since.
To the point of trusting them while I took a shower. I still think that might have been sketchy, but I had my crucifix, hanging on the shower door. But, but it really was because we communicated. They were angry. I was angry. You went to fix coffee while I took my computer into the office to try to fix it. It was fine because there was nothing wrong with it. They just were blocking stuff. And then when I went into the kitchen, the portal was, you had turned on the portal, and we had a conversation. You can reason with her ghosts, people. I am not kidding. And there was emotion and inflection in the voices, and there was comprehension of what I was saying. I mean, it was a genuine conversation. And it was so cool to hear that, because generally speaking, I don't like to use devices where I can communicate with something and not be certain of who it is. I like using a voice recorder in an EVP session. I will use a spirit box, but I don't get specific on that. But this was a genuine conversation, and it really was surprising. I think even you were surprised by a bit of it.
Yeah, when they told us where we could do the show.
And where we absolutely cannot. Absolutely not.
It's like we can hear the sheriff disembodied voice a lot of times on the 3rd floor, and he comes down to the 1st floor now and again, but he's upstairs a lot.
What seems to pull him downstairs?
I think he just comes looking to see what's going on, because I was working in that front room there off the kitchen on the first floor doing the jail shirts. Rhonda was there helping me that night, and we heard a voice right there that come to the doorway and says, "What's going on in here?" And me and Rhonda just looked at each other. I said, we're making new inmate shirts. Rhonda's like, "You want to help cut some of these out?" And then there was no more talking.
I think that's funny. So he was checking to make sure you were on the up and up.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of other haunted locations. Done a lot of investigating all over. Out west, down south, out east, up north. I'll tell you, I do get, just on country roads, I have got, evidence would suggest that it's paranormal everywhere, but there has been nowhere that I've have a relationship with the ghost like we do at the jail,
Well, Daniel says that he feels like they're used to your spirit because you're used to theirs. So that's where the interplay comes in.
And it very well could be. And I'm up there a lot by myself, and I sleep up there, and I only got one rule for them. I don't care what they do. They can make all the noise in the building they want, and they do sometimes. Just don't talk to me when I'm trying to go to sleep.
That's a good rule. I don't think that I would like that. And when you first told me that, I did not understand how you made that work. But the first night I spent the night there, I got in bed and I was tired. It'd been a long night, long day. And, they started with the movement in the bedroom. And I didn't even look. I just put my hand up and I said, "You know what? I am tired. I need some sleep. You're not doing this in here tonight." But they didn't.
Yeah.
They, as far as I know, I still knew that there were presences in there at different times, but nobody spoke to me. Nobody talked to me. I don't think they meant to wake me up.
And that room I sleep in across the hall, they never, ever come in there.
I know. But that's your sanctuary, and they respect that.
Yeah, when I go in there to go to sleep, nothing. There's nothing in there.
And I think that's cool, because I was surprised that they respected, what I said, because they didn't know me from Eve at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But they are very respectful, and they like and trust people, but only select people.
Well, the people that do get to spend a lot of time up there with me, and there's just, a very small handful of people who get to do that. They interact with them just as much as they do with me.
Because they know you trust them.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that being said, I can't believe we're at the top of the hour. So, but we are, and this is going to be our 5-minute news break. This is the time that you can go out and do a few cartwheels.